I'm not worried because we're joined this morning now by Stella and Sophie of Belle's Story. Very good morning to you both.
Good
Morning.
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 Thank you so much for joining us here this morning. Now, we're talking about organ donation, but it's a topic that's very close to your heart. Do you mind giving us an overview as to what Belle's Story is for those who might not know?
Belle Story is a charity that my daughter Belle inspired. Belle was on a transplant list for a double lung transplant 6 years ago, but unfortunately they didn't come along in time and we lost her at the age of 10. And so this charity has been formed in her legacy in order to grant dreams for children with life-limiting illnesses like Belle was, to put smiles back on their faces for the shorter life that they've got, and also to raise awareness of organ donation, particularly in paediatrics, because children do tend to wait longer for transplants.
Yeah, and organ donation, it's been a topic that's been in the news for, of course, like over a certain age. We're now auto-enrolled in Wales, but you mentioned a very pressing point there that for younger people, it's actually difficult to get organs donated. Is that right?
Absolutely. It can take up to 2.5 years longer for a child to receive a transplant compared to an adult. And it's pretty much down to having the conversation in advance. And that's where, as a charity, we're coming from. We're not looking to try and change people's minds. We respect people's decisions, but we also want people to have a conversation today and not at the worst possible moment of their lives.
And I suppose that's key, isn't it? It's being open and transparent about what happens to any of us at whatever age that we do pass away. How can our organs be used for other parts? And having that conversation now is something that people can move forward with and say, oh, actually, I remember when I heard this story, the impact it can have on someone else. And you've come up with a brilliant way of getting that message across to people of all ages as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we have, again, inspired by Belle. She would often be asked about her transplant or her illness, and she would simply compare it to what her dad does for a living. He's a mechanic and often buys sort of broken down cars. He then goes off and finds parts to fix them back up again and makes them as good as new. And Belle used to say, that's what's going to happen to me when I get my new lungs. Oh. And this was a comment that I made to a chap called Royden Turner. And he went with it. He loved the analogy between human beings and cars and being able to recycle both parts. And he came up with a story. He's called it My Engine Parts by Belle Curran. And it's a book basically just showing you what you can do by giving the gift of life in a child's perspective. And we hope that it's a book that families can perhaps read together and understand the consequences of not donating organs, which is what John and I live through every day. And, the joy of the gift of life.
Yeah, and go on then, Gina.
No, I've got the book in front of me here, and it's a beautifully illustrated book, and it's just in those, in a child's term, like you say, of just putting that across, isn't it? And it's all come from Belle.
It has, and it's just a really nice way in for children to talk about the topic. I think the biggest thing about it, it's just hugely positive. And like you said, the illustrations are fantastic by Anthony Royal. They're beautiful. And I think it's just a lovely, positive way for children to start that conversation and to also, I think crucially, really normalise the concept of organ donation and to turn it into a positive thing as opposed to a taboo subject, which I think culturally we have got in this country. And I think we need to turn it on its head. Yes, we've got the we're automatically opted in to organ donation, but there is the chance that, for parents to overrule that. So if children have already spoken about organ donation with their families, I think for parents, they're going to feel more comfortable if they had to make that decision, knowing that the children had already, given consent. But yeah, like I said, it's just such a lovely, positive book. There's nothing negative about it. It's a lovely story. The analogy's fab. And yeah, it's all come from Belle. So.
Yeah. And my favourite part about the book is just how similar we are as humans, and that all of our, we all might look different, might have different personalities, but fundamentally underneath it all, we've all got the same parts, the same bits and pieces that can help someone else and to keep our engines running. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of Belle's, quite often she would say that to people, we're exactly the same inside, even if we look different outside.
Yeah. And to go on, Gina.
No, I was going to say, and this weekend something very exciting is happening with regards to the book. Can you tell us more about what's happening?
Yes, we're launching the book in a big celebration. We're including a lot of people that have been involved with Belle and her journey, and then the charity over the last couple of years. It's being held in Wolf's Castle Country Hotel in Wolf's Castle, our home. And we're going to have afternoon tea, which was one of Belle's favourite things to do. And we're going to just celebrate the fact that as a charity, we've got as far as publishing, our very own book. It would have been Belle's 14th birthday on Saturday, which is always a tough shout. But I know that she'd be absolutely delighted with this. And so Sunday is going to be even more special because of that.
Yeah, and if people are interested in the book and on the events on Sunday, can people turn up? What can people do on
the event?
Sunday?
Is actually an invitation only event, but the book will certainly be available to buy. Either contact us by the charity website. It will go on to our shop soon, and also Facebook message is absolutely fine, so we can get them out as soon as people want them.
And our main aim is for the next 12 months, ready for Organ Donation Week. So obviously Organ Donation Week has been pushed back a week this year, so it's actually next week. But over the course of the next 12 months, we want to raise enough money to give every single primary school in Wales a copy of the book in English and in Welsh. It's been translated, so the books are literally being printed as we speak. And yeah, as Stella said, they'll be available to buy. But hopefully, if we can, reach our aim, every single primary school in Wales will have copies by this time next year for Organ Donation Week. So we hope that teachers can also use this book in classes. We want to produce resources for teachers to use, as well as children having the book at home. So.
Yeah. That's a fantastic aspiration to have for the book, and it's such a good learning tool and resource. And of course, with the Queen passing away, lots of schools have had what could be termed as awkward conversations in the last week anyway, and anything that can help teachers and parents alike with sharing hard to bring up topics of conversation and make it relatable to younger people, I think it's fantastic, and really well done in Belle's honour and her legacy, that there's another conversation, a new generation of people coming through where it's normal, it's something that we can talk about. So I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Definitely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for your time. Thanks for having us on.
No, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And yeah, this is now on our Facebook. If you're listening to this on your smart speaker, so you can go back and watch again. And that book's going to be available. What is the website that people can go and have a look for more information about Belle's story?
Belle's Story Charity.
It's bellestory.co.uk.
Fantastic. Stella, Sophie, thank you so much for joining us here this morning, and all the best with the launch on Sunday, and a yummy afternoon tea as well.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. It's 8:33 here on Pure West Radio. This is Niall Horan and Slow Hands for You.